sure the mic and everything is working here. Doobie doobie doo. Can turn my volume up a little bit here. I don't want it too loud. Do I have the volume low? Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Do I have the volume low? It's a little better. Open my volume mixer. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's better. So let me turn the YouTube volume off so you don't get the echo, echo, echo. Let me get ahead of my copy and then we'll start this shit. Alright, this is the Angry Wrench. I'm on Blue Sky. I was on all sorts of social media, whatever. I pretty much dropped everything except for Blue Sky. And I do clips. For some reason, it wouldn't connect to my Angry Wrench channel, so I flipped it back to the hashtag Not All Hippies channel for tonight. I'll work on it throughout the week and see if we can get it fixed up. A little bit of news things. I am going to be starting a Wednesday show as well. Wednesday show probably a little shorter, at least shorter than tonight, because tonight I'm going to go into a little bit of the weeds from one of the items. But again, it's not going to be more than an hour. I'd like to get it to like 40 minutes or under, but we'll see. Other than the intro and all that bullshit. This is not a profanity-free zone. I do not do civil discourse, and by that I don't mean that this is a free speech zone or that we should debate people in the marketplace of ideas. Fuck all that shit. If you're a bigot, no. If you're MAGA, no. You can be polite and put forth horrific concepts in polite terms. So it's not just the words, it's the idea behind the words. If I said effing this and effing that, what use is that? What use? I don't always agree with George Carlin, but I do agree on euphemisms to some extent, okay, to a large extent. If I say F you or effing this, you know what I mean. Why then not say the word? You know? And I'm an author, so I happen to like words. I'm also Irish, but which is all why I like potatoes. But anyway, so it's again, it's not a free speech zone. It's not a profanity-free zone. You will. I do allow, and I like to have discussion. You don't have to agree with everything I say. Okay. There are some takes on what I say that I'm just not going to allow. Okay. As I've put in my Blue Sky, I am pro BLM, pro sex worker. I'm a retired sex worker, part-time. I am pro feminism. I am pro choice. I am pro feeding kids. This whole bullshit about it's a heartwarming story from CNN. Don't get me started on media. From CNN, where it's like, this boy saved up all his lunch money and he paid off all his kids, his fellow students' debts. They're supposed to be there 8 hours a day by law. Feed the motherfuckers for free, okay? Maybe put some money into education instead of totally destroying the Department of Education, like some people want to do. I am pro marginalized communities, the black community, Latinx, the Asian communities, they're not all the same. Disabled community, I have some disabilities myself, both physical and invisible. Excuse me. Pro-choice. I am also pro-abortion. A lot of people will say that they're pro-choice and that it is a nuanced position, which I don't completely disagree with that, but they don't like abortion, but it's the other person's body. It's their right to do whatever they want. That's why it's called pro-choice. If someone wants to have a baby, to keep a baby, a fetus, till it is born, then it becomes a baby. They want to keep that fetus, and regardless of the circumstances of how they got it in the first place, if that's what they want to do, they have that choice. That's what choice is. Unfortunately, like the GOP seems to think. There's a picture floating around on the internet. I've posted on my Blue Sky before. It was during the first Trump reign of terror, and it was a picture of the GOP conference on women's health in America. All white men, like 25-ish, 25 people in the room, all white men. Yeah, that's going to be real representative. Sometimes I will take on easy topics. Sometimes I do stuff about food. Sometimes I do stuff about art, history, whatever. Especially on the Sunday shows. But sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'll do a little bit more controversial topics like sex, or sex work, or eco-terrorism, or whatever is what they call it, okay, or whatever the issue happens to be. And then sometimes I delve into the weightier topics, and that's what I'm going to be doing tonight. I'm going to be digging into politics. Some people will say, oh, well, I don't care about politics, or I don't do politics, or I'm just kind of on the fence about politics. Okay, that means that you're privileged, and whatever the political situation is, doesn't matter who's in power. It could be Democrats. Whatever the political situation is, does not affect you. That's why you don't care. Because I guarantee you, liberal, Democrat, leftist, which are not the same, MAGA, Republican, fiscal conservative, neoliberal, libertarian, whatever, okay? As soon as something affects you, look at Dick Cheney. I always think of him as the Penguin from Batman. Anyway, Dick Cheney was very anti-gay marriage. It's marriage equality, but anti-gay marriage, okay? Till he had a daughter come out as a lesbian. Suddenly he's pro-gay marriage. I used to separate it into liberal, or into Democrat and Republican. Then that started becoming less of a better categories. So I separated it into liberal and conservative. And then even that, so I just put it this way, okay. Some people, when an event happens, a bad event, okay, whether it's a school shooting or a tornado or whatever, okay, or the levee breaks, a bridge falls, and kills some people because the infrastructure is crumbling in this country, which it is, whatever the issue is, okay. Some people will say, that's horrible that happened to those people, that tornado destroyed their homes, that they were flooded out by the Mississippi River and they can't get flood insurance, so they've lost everything. Let's do something to make sure that doesn't happen again. And then other people will say, well, didn't happen to me, so I don't care. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Just do whatever you want to do, as long as you don't expect my tax dollars to pay for it. And yet those same people, and this isn't respective of party, those same people will turn a blind eye to all the money we spend on bombing brown people, or sending money to other countries which like to bomb other countries with brown people. Because that's what America does. That's what America's done for 300 fucking years. Don't even get me started on the history, because we'd be here for 4 or 5 days. Okay. Obviously, as you can tell so far, like I said, I am a little bit mouthy. Give me a second here, because I'm doing 3 things at once. I am also, whoops, that is not what I wanted to do. I am also having a discussion with someone whom is having a little bit of a problem right now, and I love them very dearly. They are Modelfir, which is Gaeilge, Irish, for my sister. They are not my blood, but I don't give a shit about blood. Okay. I've said this before countless times over the years. Okay, family is not who you share blood with. Family is who you share life with. Okay, I've known this woman for a long time, for over 20 years. Online, never met her in person. Okay, talked to her, through face chat or FaceTime or Google Meet or whatever. Even interviewed her a couple of times on the old show. And I would do just about anything for her. She's having a little bit rough time right now, so I'm going to be occasionally texting her while I'm talking to y'all. Okay, so bear with me. If somebody says something in chat and I don't catch it right away or whatever, I will get to it. Okay, so we're going to have 3 topics tonight, which is what the show is going to be kind of reformed into. If you watch my show at all over the years, I've done this channel / show for probably close to 3.5 years now. I like to change shit up. Been different names, been the Geriatric Grouch, been the White Crone, been all sorts of different names. Then it was hashtag Not All Hippies, and now it's the Angry Wrench, and I think that one really fits me better than any of the other ones have. Let me get my showrunner up here tonight, and we'll get this show on the road, pun intended. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo. Nope, that's the links. Oh, that won't that one. What? Sorry about this. I'm a professional. Sorry about this, folks. Okay, so I don't know why that is in that order. That should not be there. Okay, give me a second here. Oh no, I was wrong. It's exactly in the order it needs to be. So we're gonna switch screens here. Get to my OBS, my OBS. We're gonna switch screens here. Dun 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 dun. And we got Mr. Uglyface on the screen. The mugshot from hell. This motherfucker even put it on a t-shirt and sold it to his supporters. And this is supposed to be our president. This is supposed to be our leader of the country. This is supposed to be the person who represents us all around the world. He sure represents some of us. And we've already had, I'm going to leave that topic for maybe sometime next week or next Sunday, but we've already had some people in other governments say, we're just not going to work with him. Meaning the entire fucking government of the United States. And he can bluster and whine and piss and moan and threaten all he wants. He can do his jokes, we're going to get into that, about Panama and Greenland and Canada. Anyway, so what we're going to do, so first of all, you see the ABC bows down to Trump, okay? This is going to be about, this particular segment, okay, is going to be about ABC and the other suckasses, okay? Because that's what they are. In part, I don't want to completely, this sounds weird, I don't want to completely blame ABC, especially the lower echelon, okay? And the news anchors don't make policy, okay? I don't care if they're the faces you see on the screen every night. They don't make policy. Corporate does. CEOs do. And every single media organization in this country is owned by a right-wing CEO. Every single one, without fail. Excuse me. There are some that are sort of liberal, but there are no actual leftist CEOs that have control over large corporations, which is kind of par for the course, because it's a capitalistic function. But they're not even quote unquote liberal, as a lot of MAGA and Twitter and whatever else. I'm fuck calling it X. It's Twitter. It's always been Twitter. It's always going to be Twitter. As MAGA and others like to call mainstream media, or we call it legacy media, the liberal media. Okay, what's not fucking liberal? Well, okay, you know what? Let's go with that. Okay, let's go with liberal media. Okay, because it is neoliberal. Okay, it is centrist right, and that's what liberal is in this country today. Centrist right. It's not left in any way, shape, or form. It's not socialist. It's not communist. It's not Marxist in any way, shape, or form. It is right. So, ABC had a lawsuit against Donald Trump. Okay, what happened was, during this segment on ABC, George Stephanopoulos, who Donald Trump called him like George Sloppyopoulos or some stupid shit, you know how Trump is, described Trump as liable for rape. Those were his words. When according to New York legal definition, a jury technically found him liable for sexually abusing the writer, E. Jean Carroll. Okay? So Trump claimed he had been defamed. Now, if they had actually gone to fucking court, they would have won this. Okay? The judge in the case went out of his way to clarify that despite these technicalities on the words, Trump was liable for rape as most people thought of the word rape. Okay? I'm going to have to start, saying grape because YouTube doesn't like that word. So I'm going to have to start saying grape. But he was found liable for the R word of sexual assault. Okay? Wasn't found liable. He was found liable for sexual assault. Okay? In a civil trial. I don't know, to be honest. Maybe somebody can look it up. I don't know if he's actually paid E. Jean Carroll. Because I know the first time his fine was like $5 million, something like that, whatever it was. And then he was like, I ain't paying it. And then he defamed her, like he went out of the courthouse and right after the verdict, defamed her all over again. So they hit him for, how was it, $95 million, something like that, whatever. I don't know if he's actually paid that. I don't think he has. I could be mistaken. I don't think he has. It may have been like put in, he may have put it into escrow or whatever, I don't know. Okay. Disney owns ABC. Okay. And so Disney's got, the ABC has their newsrooms. Okay. Obviously not just the one with Stephanopoulos. Okay. And Disney didn't want to keep badgering Trump. They didn't want Trump on their asses when he starts the new fascist regime. administration. So Disney said to back off. We'll settle this for $15 million. Okay. What I find kind of funny. Let me make sure that I see this here. Okay. What I find kind of funny is that. Let me get the dates here. Okay. Shortly before the settlement was announced, the Disney executive who oversees ABC News, because it's not like that executive oversees everything, just that particular portion of the company, had dinner. Who did he have dinner with? Trump's incoming chief of staff. And then the settlements were announced. Coinky-dink? I don't think so. Sure, they're liberal media. Sure they are. And then you have the Palm Beach Pilgrims. I love that phrase. The Palm Beach Pilgrims. Okay. Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, made the trip down and bent the knee to Trump. Google's Sundar Pichai, and Sergey Brin, okay, OpenAI's Sam Altman, and Facebook, fuck calling it Meta, Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg, whatever you want to call him, okay. Zuckerberg also coughed up $1 million. I believe Jeff Bezos did too. $1 million for Trump's inauguration campaign or inauguration bash. Okay, and while suppressing political speech during the election session. And you don't know how many conservatives I've heard over the years. I'm no longer on Facebook. Can kiss my big white Irish ass, or as my mom used to say, suck my left tit. The right one's for friends. You don't know how many conservative people I've had tell me, well, Facebook is a liberal bastion and da-da-da, and they try to, what's the word I'm looking for? They try to censor the conservatives. No, the fuck they don't. Okay? I have literally had unaliving threats and grape threats sent to me in my DMs, okay? And in my open Facebook. On the Facebook platform where everybody can see it, I've had that sent to me more than once. And every single time I've sent it, We know this makes you unhappy, but this does not violate our community standards. Why the fuck have them in the first place? Oh yeah, that's right, because it's okay for that, but and it's okay for Nazi speech, all right? It's okay for misogyny and all kinds of horse shit, bigotry, racism, whatever. But God forbid, somebody should chastise the orange shit gibbon. That's exactly what he is. That's exactly what I call him. Okay. Bezos not only gave $1 million to the inauguration campaign. The Washington Post was going to put an endorsement out of Kamala Harris. Bezos said, no, we're not going to do it. The first one in the history of the Washington Post, Bezos is like, I don't want to do that. All this doesn't get Trump to back off. This is like if you have a bully in school, okay? And the bully comes up to you and says, give me 50 cents or I'm going to beat the snot out of you. And you're like, okay. And you give him 50 cents. So this goes on for a week. Bully comes up and says, give me 50 cents or I'll beat the snot out of you. And instead of giving him 50 cents, you give him $1, hoping that will make him go away the next day. No. He's going to come back the next day and expect $1. Okay? He also targeted a Des Moines Register pollster. Okay? He forecast a poll. Okay, he was wrong. He admitted it, but he forecast a poll stating that Kamala Harris would win in Iowa. He slapped him with a lawsuit charging election interference. The fuck? But polls are fine when it's, pushing Trump. Okay. By the way, another one, okay? You might want to check the horseshit that MAGA and the upper MAGA and the Project 2025 managers, whatever, have been pushing, where Trump had a mandate. Trump won a mandate. Trump won a bunch of states. Trump won a mandate. No, he fucking didn't. 1.4% difference. The narrowest margin, to my recollection, at least since I've been alive, and following politics, half a century. The narrowest margin in over half a century. That's not a fucking mandate. A mandate is when, like, Reagan ran against Mondale. Mondale won his home state, and that's it. Reagan took all 49 other states. What also helped and hindered both at the same time, okay, both candidates, was this electoral college bullshit. Okay, so let's say you have a state, doesn't matter, let's say you have a state in the United States and it has 10 electoral votes, okay, representatives, what do you want to call them, okay, and let's say you get 6 and the other candidate gets 4, doesn't matter who it is, doesn't matter what party it is, you get 6, the other candidate gets 4. When that electoral college goes to vote, you take all 10. Doesn't matter if those 4 voted against you, you get all 10. That's the racist bullshit. That's where it started, was racism. That's the racist bullshit of the electoral college. Okay? There are 2 states. I think Arizona is one, and I think maybe Hawaii is the other. I can't remember. Okay? Where they don't do the electoral college that way. In 2023, Kash Patel told Steve Bannon, this is a quote, "We're going to come after the people in the media who lied about American citizens who helped Joe Biden rig presidential elections," end quote. There has been, to date, so far, not one cabinet member, not one upper echelon position that Trump has appointed someone to that is fucking qualified for the position. Flat out. Okay? Kimberly Guilfoyle, who was Donnie Jr.'s fiancé. He's been seen out and about town holding hands with someone else. Kimberly Guilfoyle has been appointed ambassador to Greece. And I did a clip on that, okay? And I believe the title was something along the lines of, "Without Greece, you can't cook a burger." Because she's not the sharpest tool in the shed, let me tell you. Or as my mom would say, the sharpest knife in the light bulb drawer. But she got appointed ambassador to Greece, okay? Because her qualifications are what exactly? My theory, completely unsubstantiated, just a wild guess, my theory is that she has so much dirt on the Trump family and that circle, because she was in that inner circle for a long time, okay, that they couldn't just go, you know what, we're just going to drop you like a hot potato. Because she'd go run into Fox News, she'd go run into MSNBC, she'd go run into whoever, and a whole world of shit. Okay, and whether or not that would have stopped Trump from getting elected, unlikely. I think the problems with Donnie Jr. started before the actual election. So she got appointed ambassador to Greece, which I think is a possibility that she got appointed that to as a sort of a bribe, maybe not a bribe, sort of a compensation prize. Okay, a consolation. Excuse me, that's the word I was looking for. Consolation prize. Okay, okay. Well, you know, you're not going to marry my son. You're not going to be my daughter-in-law. But you know what? We'll give you this semi-powerful, you know, to Greece position as ambassador to Greece. Okay, you get to go over there. You can meet whoever you want. You can spend all sorts of money through the embassy. You know, you'll have the, you know, because they have the expense accounts, expenses account. You know, travel. You know, whatever. Okay, she'll be living high off the hog. Trump's incoming FCC chairman, another incompetent, Brendan Carr, said he would not rule out going after broadcast licenses to publish outlets that critique Trump and wanted to censor fact-checkers. But, you know, for the people who didn't vote for Kamala Harris, and I did, okay, I'm a socialist. I voted for Kamala Harris, okay, as the lesser of two evils, and I don't think, I would say I agree with probably about 50 to 75%, somewhere in that range of the positions that she held. Okay. I don't agree with any of them from Trump. So I had that choice. Now, some people didn't vote. A lot of people didn't vote from what I hear. Okay. Somewhere over, 20 million. Maybe that number's too high. I don't know. But I thought I remember readings. Somewhere over 20 million people just did not vote at all. Didn't matter what party. They just didn't vote. Okay. Whether it's because they felt like they were privileged and they didn't need to, whether it was a protest against both candidates, both candidates suck, so we're not going to vote for them. And I can understand that feeling, as a socialist. I can understand that feeling. I've said this before. Both sides are not the same. Not in any way, shape, or form. Both sides are not the same. But both sides suck. Okay. And then as far as Kamala Harris goes, okay, you got the whole... this thing about Minnesota Nice with Tim Walz drives me up a fucking wall. Okay, he started coming out a little bit. Okay, when he called Trump a dipshit, I was thrilled is too strong a word, but I was highly amused and pleased that he called Trump a dipshit, because he is. And they kind of reined him in after that, and then he had that, in my opinion, disastrous debate with J.D. Vance, where, if I recall correctly, Vance turned to the moderators at one point and said, "I thought we weren't gonna fact check this, so you can just stand there and lie your ass off," because that's exactly what he fucking did. And Tim Walz tried. I give him credit for trying to do something. Okay, this isn't one of them. He tried to push back. And then push forth that this is a tried to treat Vance as not a moderate candidate, but as a reasonable candidate, as a old school candidate. As we just disagree on policy, we disagree on these things, whatever. Even though they screw people over, but we're going to use polite language or whatever. You're going to base your stuff on some facts. I'm going to base my stuff on some facts. Didn't work out that way. Vance just lied his ass off the whole way through. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the dogs and cats. They're eating the pets. They're eating the dogs. This is the motherfucker you voted for? Okay. And by the way, George Stephanopoulos, which started this whole ranty rant, okay. George Stephanopoulos, who was the one who made the comment about Trump being liable for grape, okay, signed another multi-year contract for... Now, it's reported that it's less, okay, but he signed another year, I think it was a 4-year contract, or multi-year contract anyway, okay, for, well, up to so far, and I'm sure they didn't drop it down to $20,000. But up to so far, he's been making $20 million a year. What? $20 million a year. You take any person in America, give them $20 million a year, and tell them, I'm going to give you $20 million a year. You can do whatever you want with that $20 million. You know, you got to get up and have a speech once in a while, or a debate once in a while, or whatever you're going to do. Because I guess he was only doing his show on Sundays. You say what I want you to say in order to get that $20 million. Very few people would turn it down. To be honest, I would have a hard time turning it down. I think I would in the end, but I would have a hard time turning it down. Mostly because with that $20 million, God, I still don't think I could do it. I'm too much of a mouthy bitch, okay? And one of these times it'd be like, I'd be rattling off whatever their talking points are, and whatever, fuck this, and just walk out. Okay, like there was a news anchor, I believe it was, or weather reporter, whatever, in Alaska, I believe it was, who had started her own pot company, and it became very successful, to the point where during the broadcast, during her little weather segment, whatever, she said, fuck this, I quit, and walked out. You'll have to look that up on the internet. It was a reporter, it was a black woman, a reporter in, I want to say, Anchorage. It could be wrong. Okay. So, $20 million a year. Okay. To basically suck Trump's dick. Okay. I'm a former sex worker myself. I got a lot less. I'm a former sex worker myself. There's a lot of sex workers around the world who must be wondering, I wish I could get some of that. That motherfucker ain't got enough money. Sorry, Mushroom Boy, you ain't got enough. I give all credit to, I can't remember what her actual name is. I gave all credit to Stormy Daniels, okay? Did what she did what she had to do to get that money. But, no. And it isn't size, okay? That's got nothing, I'm not body shaming him. It's got nothing to do with it. It's what's going on between his ears. That's what would make me vomit immediately. Okay, so that was kind of the, I don't want to say completely negative, that's kind of the downer portion of the show. We're going to kind of go a little bit middle ground here, okay? So you decided, maybe you've known for a long time that you're a leftist, that you're a liberal, that you're a Democrat. You don't like the GOP, you don't like this fascist regime that's coming in, because that's what it fucking is, all right? You see Congress is doing this or Congress is doing that, and Congress is not doing this and Congress is not doing that. Some Democrats are already talking about how, well, I guess we'll have to work with Trump. And what can you do? You're a little peon like me, okay? I'm retired, living off of Social Security, which hopefully won't cut it to the bone, but I don't know. I may have to go back to work, try to go back to work, even though I physically can't do it anymore. I'm 64. They're going to try to cut Medicaid, Medicare, whatever, okay. Some of the medications that I take are sort of, they help me get along day to day, pain pill, whatever. Some of them I need daily, because I need them daily. And not just me, but because other people in my health situation need those medications daily. Guess what? That price goes, insulin is a perfect example. Okay, I don't need insulin yet. I have a lot of history of diabetes in my family. But, so what happens to those people when the money for that medication is gone? One of my medications, okay, which is given to me every 3 months, okay, one of my medications is $300. It's $100 a month out of my little piddly ass Social Security, which they're going to try to cut, okay, and not just because they don't want to just go from 62 to 68, oh no, or 70, which apparently seems to be, like the median age for Congress nowadays, regardless of party. Nancy Pelosi can get the fuck out of there. Mitch McConnell can get the fuck out of there. But what can you do? You're a little peon like me. Maybe you're younger. You're working. Okay, you're busting your ass, trying to provide for your family, for yourself. Okay, you don't have to have a family. This whole thing where I'm not knocking people who have a family. I have 2 daughters, and I have 9 grandkids, and I love them to death. Okay, but I'm just one person running my mouth off on a little YouTube show that's only a couple times a week. I got 149 subscribers. Ooh boy. Okay. What can I do? What can you do? You're a factory worker. You're a nurse. You're a cop. You're a retail worker. You're a hamburger flipper. I love to use that phrase because all the people who say, well, hamburger flippers shouldn't make $15 an hour. 2 things. Number 1, I agree. They should make $16 an hour. Okay. Well, EMTs don't make $16 an hour. Then raise the EMT's fucking wage. All right. But you're this basically, whether you're a trash collector or a mail worker or and they do get a little bit better, but okay, $20 an hour sounds like pretty good, doesn't it? Okay, shit, it would have been good in my in this area, okay, and a lot of areas. $20 an hour for a lot of people is one hell of a jump up. Okay, it's 40 grand a year for a single person. It is just maybe 5 or 6 grand, if I recall correctly, above poverty level. And then there are states which don't do that. One of my daughters lives in a southern state and was working until recently, at a local fast food joint. Guess what she made? $7.25 an hour. Why did she make Glasgow! All right. This is one of my. I consider him to be an online friend. Okay. He's a fucking I can't do the Scottish accent. I can do the Irish one, but I can't do the Scottish one without really going overboard on the brogue, and then I sound like fucking Dick Van Dyke trying to do a Cockney accent. But he's a Scots. A wee git, an awesome person. He's on Blue Sky. Look him up under just Glasgow. Okay. What the fuck? I guess 13 out loud. But look on Blue Sky. I believe he's still on Facebook too. Okay. He's got a couple of different venues that he's on. Look him up. He makes commentary on both American and British governmental fuck-ups and the societies. And I also don't want to hear anybody go, oh, well, he's Scottish. He doesn't know shit about America. Okay, what the fuck do you know about Scotland? What the fuck do you know about Liberia? What the fuck do you know about Germany? What the fuck do you know about Japan? Okay, with your little, I've worked with people my age, I'm 64, my age-ish, okay, who never went out of the county, my home county, never went out of the county in their life. I'm not talking about overseas. I'm not talking about out of state. Go to Six Flags or, Florida, Disney, California, whatever, okay. I'm talking never been out of the county. And then you're going to tell me with your little watching only Fox ass and OAN and all the other bullshit, right-wing bullshit, you're going to tell me how the country should be run. What other people in other countries should think about America. Oh, I'm not kind at all. Me, Glasgow, I'm a bitch. Okay? But I also try to tell the truth. I tell you what I think. Okay? I tell you what I think, not what I think you want to hear. So let's get back to the topic a little bit. I'm also AUDHD, so I have to write a showrunner because if I don't, we'll be all over the place and I'll be talking. I've literally talked for 4 hours by myself. Okay? Y'all don't need to stay for all that. Okay, so what can you do? Okay, you're not in a position of power. You may not even be like a local town council member. Okay, what can you do? Okay, the people who say get out and vote. Okay, well that just worked so fucking wonderful last time, didn't it? But I do have a caveat to that. Okay, you want to get out and vote? Sure. Get out and vote when it's not the fucking presidential election. How about that? How about you get out and vote not next year, year after next, okay? assuming we still have an election, because Trump could say, "Oh, well, I'm the head of the Justice Department, and we're overseeing, a law, and since there's a lot of election fraud, we're going to suspend the elections." So, but let's say the election does happen, okay, in 2026. Do you know who your representatives are? By the way, I'm going to put every single thing that I talk about in a show. I've got all the links. I got some 20 odd links. Okay, there's a link at the end. You can go to that place. You don't have to put in your address. Okay, you could put in like a library nearby, or a cop shop nearby, or whatever. Okay, a store nearby, a Walmart next to your house. Well, not next to your house, but because they usually put them out of town. But whatever, power company, whatever. Just something. Somebody else's address across the street. To find out your representatives, who they are, state level all the way up to president. Okay. And by state level and local level, I'm talking like city council. Okay. All those will be listed in that link. All you got to do is put in an address. You don't have to. You don't resign. You don't have to register anything. You just put the address in. Boom, done. Okay. So now the information here isn't old. It's updated, but some of the language is write letters. Okay. Emails. I guess you could call it email a letter technically, and vice versa. Okay. But write emails. Okay. To media editors. Every time you see an article or a broadcast that sane washes Trump or his bullshit. Okay. Doesn't have to be, a 20-page manifesto. Okay. Doesn't have to be a Luigi manifesto, which is only 3 pages. Even that may be long for some people. That's fine. Whatever. Okay. Every single time, though, that you have the spoons to do so, that ABC or NBC or CNN or MSNBC or Fox or whoever, okay, does an article that you think they're too biased on, or they're saying washing, don't know, make a comment in the comment section, okay, but specifically try to send them, because usually most of the sites have this is so and such the editor, and here's their email, whatever, okay, letter to the editor type of thing that we used to do way back when. I remember writing one in Minnesota in 2006, an actual letter, okay, handwritten. Yeah, I know I'm old. Okay, so do that. Okay, social media platforms are good. They're not as good as I'd like them to be, but they are good. Okay, again, the whole sane washing. Okay, pushback. That's a good thing for social media, whether it's Twitter, if you want to be on there, or whether it's Blue Sky, whether it's Mastodon, or what's another one, Tribal, or whatever. Okay, whatever your social media, Facebook, whatever your social media preference is. Okay, Instagram, TikTok. I'll get into that in a second. In fact, hold on just a second here. But whatever your social media platform of preference is, get on there and do some pushback. Okay, get on there, and when somebody says, they're eating the dogs, okay, get on there and do some pushback. Now, some of this stuff, here's the thing, okay, someone said quite a few years ago, and I agree with them on this topic, they're kind of a broken clock for me. What evidence do you use to convince someone who doesn't value evidence? It's a great line, okay? Because pretty much now, whatever evidence you use against anything that Trump says, or the GOP says, or Project 2025 managers say, fake news. It's not real. It's AI. Believer's gonna believe, I guess. The whole hater's gonna hate. Believer's gonna believe. I want to say it was Mark Twain. Probably more people have said this. The concept behind it, at least anyway. But it is much easier to fool a man than to convince him he has been fooled. They don't want to do that. They don't want to. They don't want to think that they've been fooled. They don't want to think. They want to think they're too smart to be fooled. I can't be fooled. Dunning-Kruger. I can't be fooled. I'm too smart to swallow that BS. Okay. Um, no, you're not. I have fallen on occasion. I'm not saying I'm perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I have fallen prey to Dunning Kruger myself a couple of times. Um, Most of the time that I did it, I got not so much called out. You didn't, get my shit jumped, whatever. But people pointed out, and I'm like, oh, what? And I'm, oh, okay, I was wrong. um, One particular time, I'm a physics geek. One particular time, talking about physics. I've been watching physics documentaries for 30 years. Okay, I know a lot about physics, and I don't. I know a lot about the general concepts of physics. Okay, but then I went to watch a lecture from someone, a physicist, for graduate students, and I understood like maybe 10%. I was like, oh, I don't know anywhere near as much as I thought I did. Okay. This part of it is the letters. Okay, petitions. Change.org, whatever. Um, they help bring. They can help in the way that they help bring attention to a specific topic, whatever it is. Okay. Whether it's women losing their people losing their right to autonomy of their own bodies, or what's up, Beastie Beast? I'm doing fair to middling, as my mom would say. We covered the what the heck was it? We covered the first da da dee da da dee. Oh, we covered the Trump the knee bending by the media and other corporations, whatever, to Trump. Okay, and now we're trying to talk about what people can actually do. Thing I mentioned so far is to write an email to your representative. Okay, preferably to the office or whatever, and I'm sure that it's just going to be their staff that read it. Maybe they might forward one once in a while. Whether it's Mitch McConnell or AOC, doesn't matter. Okay. And once in a while, they might read something, or it might, ting their interest or whatever. Okay. But another thing was to go on social media. Okay. To go on social media, and most people, Marjorie Taylor Greene, or as I like to call her, Major Trader Greene, has a Twitter account. Okay. And I'm presuming she has some sort of email. Whether you can contact her, I don't know. I'm presuming that her official office has a media account. B says, "Sorry, I'm late. That's okay. You're fired. Sign your last paycheck over to me. Clean out your desk and give me all your zuzus and whims." He says, "To borrow wrestling language, ABC is acknowledging their tribal chief." Yep. Joey said, "I was listening from across the room." So write the social media of the powerful. Okay. People in Congress, your local politicians, if they have a social media account in some way, shape, or form, whether it's Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or Blue Sky or whatever. Okay. Also call them again if you have the ability, if you have the spoons or whatever. I'm not demanding that everybody do everything. Okay, it doesn't work that way. All right. What does work is that people call them, not I call them, or not Joey calls them, or not Beast calls them. People call them. The more people call them, the larger the number of people who call them, the greater the attention they may pay to in a situation, or a topic, or a bill, or whatever. Okay. And it doesn't matter, Republican or Democrat. I did that for Democrats because Democrats pissed me off during the last 2 votes. Not the last 2, but it's been in the last month, okay, on 2 bills. One was the bill that allows Trump to target nonprofits, claim that they're promoting terrorism, and shut off their tax exempt status. And the other was a bill to It was the NDAA. I do remember that, which is basically a defense bill. Okay, you know, money for the Pentagon, money for soldiers, whatever, fine, cool, dandy. Okay, some asshole, I know who they are, two assholes actually, attached a rider amendment to that that was transphobic as shit. And it passed because 81 Democrats voted for it. So on my blue sky, I made a list. I called them out. On my blue sky for those 15 Democrats, and that's the only reason that bill passed. Okay? Excuse me, for the nonprofit one. 15 Democrats voted for it. Otherwise, that bill wouldn't have passed. I called them out on it. Okay? I'm just me, you know, running my mouth, you know, whatever, on blue sky. You know, there are people on there who have like 2, 3, 4, 500,000 followers, and I got like 1,400. Maybe 1,300, 1,400. You know, but for the people that I can reach, I try to do that. Okay. For the people that you can reach, if it's not social media, if you're not normally on social media a lot, you happen across my channel and thought, what the fuck is this bitch talking about? And you happen to think that, you know, stuff needs to be changed, talk to your neighbors. If you're safe in doing so, sometimes you're not. If you're safe in doing so, if you feel safe in talking to your family, maybe talk to your family. And for those who have really opposite family members, if you want to avoid them, avoid them. You know, don't put yourself in a stressful situation that can harm you. Don't put yourself in a situation, and I'm not talking physically, but also don't put yourself in a situation that could harm you physically. Okay. Like I said, you know, contact your local officials. Okay, your local officials, and that's city council members, district representatives, your mayor, your usually, you know, most towns, I would guess, in America nowadays, the mayor will have an email or the city council will have an email. I live in a town of about 7,500, we call them townies, okay, and students, because we have a college here. About 7,500 townies and around 10,000 students, okay. Our mayor has email, the cop shop has emails, you know, the water commissioner has emails, etc., etc. Okay, so if you have an issue, like we had a, I think the company was called Grayshot, Gratiot. I can't remember. Started with G anyway. Chinese-based company that wanted to come in and put a water bottling plant in, and that's kind of been, excuse me, sorry, coffee burp. That's kind of been put on hold. Okay. If you can, open your mouth. Okay, doesn't have to. You don't have to get on YouTube and start a channel. Although if you do, let me know and I'll subscribe to you. I'll support you with my little piddly 149 subscribers. Okay, I must have picked up a couple during the show. Cool. But you know, I do have the massive like 1,300 and some odd whatever followers on Blue Sky. Okay, I'll give you a shout out on there as well. All right. If you have a specific project in regards to these issues, okay, because we'll get into something else later, let me know that. If you have a YouTube channel and, you know, and you're doing fair, okay, you're like, oh, well, I was, you know, I just flipping through and I saw this blonde-headed bitch and she's, you know, running her mouth off and I actually have a show coming up about that. Let me know, and I'll give you a shout out. If you have some certain stances on certain topics, I won't. Again, this is not a free speech zone. Okay. So, you know, run your mouth. Okay. Whether it's ACLU, whether it is vote.org, which is bipartisan, by the way. Whether it is whatever organization, you know, ASPCA. I don't care. Okay. But especially in regards to politics and social issues, support the organizations that you like to support. Okay, even if it's just going on to like their website or sending them an email, or maybe if they have a web page or a YouTube channel or a Facebook page or whatever. Okay, go there and let them know. Let them know that you support them. Okay, there may be a lot of people that you do support. Okay, you might be able to run your mouth like I do. Cool. Also, And this is going to be rough for some people. I understand that completely. Financially, okay? We're not talking sending them hundreds of dollars every month, okay? I'm on Social Security. I ain't got shit for money, okay? I do have a little bit of leeway until next year, but I have a little bit of leeway. So there are 4 groups that I help fund, I should say. But there are 4 groups that I help fund, all right? And I send them $5 a piece. So I can afford. I don't feel guilty because I don't send more. I could like pick one and send them $20 this month, and then the next month send another one $20. But I just figured, you know, they all do good work. Okay, I just figured it's easier to spread that out a little bit, you know, and it's just an automatic thing. Okay, and I don't have it. Hold on a second. My channel glitched for a second. I don't know why. It's not an automatic thing. Okay. I don't have it taken out every month. I don't do that crap. Okay. But I do send them $5 every month. Every one of them. Okay. $5 ain't shit for that $5. Okay. But I mentioned this, for example, on Blue Sky. You know, oh, we're having a hard time, which some ways they are, some ways they aren't. But I'm not going to get into that. But we're having a hard time, you know, doing better moderation. Okay. Well, how about you do something, and I'm willing to do it. You do something like, I call him Lone Scum, not Elon Musk, because you can anagram the words for that, okay? You do something like what Lone Scum does with his $8 a month verification thingy, okay, whatever. Except, you know, don't give a fuck being verified, okay? Just, it's a subscription service. You want to pay $5 a month or $10 a month. $5 a month or $10 a month, okay? You just get a little check, you know, maybe a little star. Hey, I'm supporting Blue Sky, cool, whatever, or whatever, whether it's Instagram or whatever else, but especially Blue Sky. Here's the thing. There are over 25 million subscribers on Blue Sky. Now, a lot of them are porn bots, some of them are sex workers, okay, etc. And believe me, I'm not knocking down sex workers. Like I said, I used to be one. But there are over 25 million, okay? So let's say 1 million of them. That's all. That's 1 million of them. That's not even, that's less, is it a quarter? 1/25th? My math skills suck nowadays. Okay. So that'd be 1/25th, so it's like a quarter of a percent, okay, of the population of Blue Sky. Okay. Whatever the fuck it is, I don't know anyway. So 1 million, okay. Do that, make that choice, okay, and $5 a month, okay. Their income above what they make now would be $5 million a month. You can hire a lot of devs for that and still make a profit. You know, you pay, I don't know what the devs are paid, but let's say they're paid $50,000 a year, okay, $25 an hour. That might be lowball, I don't know, but I'm just going to use that as an example, okay. Because I don't know jack shit about that wage part, okay. So $50,000, you know, let's bump it up, $100,000, okay. $100,000. You take half of you take 1/10 of that money that you're getting from the subscribers, okay. You've already hired 5 devs. Let's knock it back down. Let's knock it back down to 50. You've hired 20. You've hired 10 devs. Okay, 10 devs. You know, working 8 hours a day or whatever the hell they work. Okay, I'm assuming 8 hours a day. Can make a lot of difference. A lot of difference. Okay, it can help relieve that burden on the other devs. All right. It just boggles my mind that Blue Sky doesn't go, and they may be sort of like, you know, well, you know, that's going to be too much like Twitter, you know. Asking people to pay money. So here's what you do, okay? You don't give any special access. You don't go, oh, look, you know, the Angry Wrench paid $5 a month, so she gets to do more than these people, whatever. I don't give a fuck about all that. I want to support the platform. $5 a month is all. Now, let's say 1/5 of the Blue Sky users, which is, a reasonable one, be what, 20%? 20% of Blue Sky users, okay? Put in $5 a month. That's $25 million a month profit. There's no overhead on that, maybe for accountants, okay? And that's about it. Profit. So let's say it cost you $5 million for your accountants and whatever, okay? That's $20 million or more profit per month. Why are you not doing this? It goes back to when I used to say this about video cards, okay? For a long time, video manufacturers didn't make drivers for NVIDIA especially, but other video cards for Linux. The percentage of Linux geeks who game, who back at that time would have kissed the asses of anybody that made a video card that ran on Linux? You're losing. Why are you shooting yourself in the foot and losing money? So let's get back to this. Okay. So like I said, I don't care if you don't donate at all. Okay. But if you can, $1 a month, $5 a month, $20 a month, whatever you can afford. Okay. Don't push it. Okay. You got your own shit to take care of. So I donate $20 a month, four groups that I donate to. Okay. Groups like anti-hate groups, the ACLU, other civil liberties groups, reproductive right groups. Okay. You also want to make sure do an investigation on the groups themselves. Okay. I don't give a fuck who they are. Red Cross has some problems. All right. Some of them they've taken care of, and I give them kudos for that. But they have some problems, quite a few problems for a long time. Where even one of them was even caught out by Bill O'Reilly. If it's so bad that everybody else is ignoring it and you get called out by Bill O'Reilly, you need to clean your shit up. Okay? So do your investigation, do your work, look into the company or the charity. Okay? Look behind it, see who's behind it, see who's making money on it, see who's not making money on it. An old saying, if you want to fix a problem in America, don't look for the people suffering the problem, look for the people making money off the problem. Okay. And then, like I said, you also want to talk when you do support those people, when you do send them emails, when you do send them, comments on if they have a web page or, Facebook page or Twitter or Blue Sky or whatever. Okay. Let them know that you support them. Let them know that you've helped other people. You've talked to other people about supporting them. Because for the groups like the ACLU, like other groups, I will even say the Red Cross in this situation. Okay, they're out here doing this stuff. Okay, and sometimes they feel unencumbered by people that care. They bust their ass. They do whatever their job is. They go home. Give me a second here. I want to check on something, please. Please and thank you. What in the world is my browser doing? I'm sorry, folks. I'm having a brain fart here. Anyway, where was I? It's your fault, Beast. Was talking about money. Okay, was talking about to let them know that you support them. If you have, and not just subscription. Okay, for example, with my channel. Okay, I want people to make comments in the comment section. I want feedback. I want to know, what do you want for next week's show? Give me a topic. What do you think I got wrong during this show? What do you think is wrong about one of the links? I always have links. People who follow my show at all for any length of time at all know I back my shit up. Maybe you think one of my links is wrong because X, Y, and Z. Post that link or at least talk about that link so I know which one it is in the comment section. Let me know. Hey, you got this wrong. There, you said A, B, and C, and it's actually X, Y, and Z. Okay, we can have a conversation about that. Let people know. Let the mouthy people like me and others Let the active people, like the Red Cross, like the ASPCA, like the uh, um, reproductive rights groups, BLM, local BLM groups, etc. Let them know that you support them, even if it's not financially. Okay. I was going to say how hard it is. Sometimes it is hard. Okay, but when it is possible, it is easy to write a note electronically. Okay, although you can do it, through a letter too. But to write a note, let that group know, let those people know, let the ACLU know, let .org know, let change, I think it's change.org, let them know, okay, that you support their efforts. I don't think petitions will completely change anything, but like I said earlier in the show, if you get enough people, one person, the old saying, one person can change the world. Okay, you're in a perfect world. Are we in a perfect world? No. But one person can have the rippling effect. Okay, like tossing a stone in the pond. Okay, you have an effect that expands out from you. So you're standing here, you have that effect. I'm standing here, I have that effect. When they hit together, they're stronger. Okay, we are stronger through unity. We just are. Like I said earlier, I'll have a link at the end of the description where you can go find out who your reps are as well. Okay. Without vocal support for the reps that you do support, okay, or the journalists that you do support, a lot of times they're like, why the fuck should I risk this? I'm, running my mouth, I'm doing this, I'm doing whatever. Nobody gives a shit. Let them know you give a shit. Okay? Hopefully not literally. It can be a house of worship. I don't care. At this point, I do not care. I've said this before on my Facebook. I've said this before. I have said it on my Facebook. Said this before on my Blue Sky, and a couple atheists lost their ever-loving fucking shit over it. I've said it on my Facebook when I was on Facebook, and some atheists lost their ever-fucking-loving shit over it. I don't care. I would rather live next door. I'm a trans woman. I would rather live next door to a queer-friendly, a trans-friendly, religious family than I would probably 80% or more of the atheists I've ever met online. Because they're assholes. Now they think, okay, when they come from religion, they've dumped religion, they've dumped that baggage, they no longer, no masters, okay? They've dumped that, the whole God idea itself, or the whole religion idea itself. Cool. But you brought every other motherfucking thing with it, okay? You brought the racism, you brought the misogyny, you brought the queerphobia, you brought the negative concepts from that religion. You didn't unpack those. You still got those in your baggage coming behind you, okay? When atheists talk about race realism, it's fucking racism. When atheists talk about urban, okay, not just atheists, to be honest, to be fair, but when atheists talk about urban development, urban crime, black on black crime, it's fucking racism. Elevator gate, other things, the misogyny. When atheists, and a lot of atheists do this, when atheists talk about there's only two genders, all that bullshit comes from religion. Every single fucking aspect of it comes from religion. There's not one that does not. And it isn't just one religion. I'm not just focused on Christianity. Islam does it. Judaism does it. Hinduism does it. Again, hashtag not all Hindus, hashtag not all Muslims, etc. I understand that, and I agree with that. Okay, not every adherent to a religion is fanatical in that aspect. Okay. One of the atheists that I follow on YouTube, his parents are Jainists, which I'm not going to get into, but it's a religion that is non-violent, and in fact, the more fanatical you are about Jainism, the less violent you are. The really strong ones inherent in their faith wear a mask, okay? Not just to protect other people, from maybe they have a cold or, whatever, but so that they don't accidentally ingest flies or microbes and kill them. That's how nonviolent they are. Excuse me. Um, so, if it's a house of worship and it's not a problematic place, okay, work with them. We have a church here. I believe it's either Episcopalian or is it Lutheran? Can't remember. Somewhere along those lines, anyway. Okay, it's not Catholic. And they have a pride flag hanging outside their church. Okay, it's December, right? Why would you have a pride flag? They have it all year long. One of my friends, who is trans, worked for them, was also in the congregation, but worked for them. They are a believer, and she and I get along really well. Okay. They have queer people in the congregation. Okay. If you say that your God is love and you practice that, I'm going to be more lenient. Not like I can control people, and I don't want to do that either, but I'm going to be more lenient in my responses to you, more tactful maybe, in my responses to you than someone who is not. Okay, like I said, I'd rather live next door to a queer-friendly religious family than most atheists I know. Most atheists I know. Okay, not people that are on my personal list, not people when I was on Facebook that are on my personal list, etc. Just people that I know of, have had conversations with, or through email or whatever. Okay, and that particular asshole charity I worked for quite a few years ago. So find a local group. That also helps you, because if you find a local group, okay, you're making a difference in your community. Sure, you can give $5 to the ACLU. Okay, don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking the ACLU in that context. Okay, sure, you can give $5 to the ACLU, or you can give $5 to vote.org or whatever. Let's say there's a local church or charity. It doesn't have to be a church. Who is doing a food drive, or some churches do this. Okay. Or who decides that they want to do a outreach for women who and actually provide the choice, okay, not just make it a fake pregnancy center, okay, like a lot of fundamentalists do. There are churches here that support Planned Parenthood. Not very many, but there are a couple. Okay, $5 to Planned Parenthood. There's a organization here that is a therapy organization, therapy clinic, I guess would be a better way to put it, who specifically says right on their sign out front, LGBTQ plus positive, in a small, rural, northern Michigan town. Which also tells you how far this town has come from. And it has problems, don't get me wrong, every place does, but okay, so there's a lot to do. A hell of a lot to do. Holy shit, there's a lot to do. And there's not a whole lot of time to do it in. 2-3 days? And I'm not saying we can fix everything in 2-3 days. 2 days. Okay, 3 days, whatever. Okay. But that's, a lot of the stuff is not going to start actually on January. Some of it will on January 1st, okay, but a lot of stuff isn't. Like the Congress is going to take place on January 1st, I believe. My prediction, I'll state this here and now, this is, December 29th, so, I can come back to the show later, people can go, oh, you were wrong. Okay, I hope I'm not. But my prediction is that the pushback between what Trump claimed and what Trump tries to get through is going to stop a lot of it. Now, having said that, that has nothing to do with Project 2025. Okay, they're going to try to push their fascist bullshit through. But look at the current civil war between Lone Scum on the one side and his advocates, and the H-1B advocates on the other side. Okay, the other tech companies. Okay, because MAGA. So you got Lone Scum and the H-1B That's a type of visa. Um, Proponents, and then you have the general run of MAGA, like for example Laura Loomer. That's a name. But anyway, oh my God, we can't have immigrants coming in and stealing our jobs. Well, that's not going to get any better, because especially if they, defund or dismantle or at least downsize, I guess would be a way to put it, the Department of Education. They sure the fuck aren't going to be Americans. But the H-1B visa, I think that's the actual acronym, is where they go overseas, different countries, okay, hire tech gurus, bring them, say, hey, we're gonna give you a visa. You can come over here. You can work for a year or 3 years or whatever. Okay. They're also going to be paid less than if American was doing it, because that's the way it works. It's the way capitalism works. Yay. And we're going to have this person work for my company. Okay, whether it's Elon Musk or whoever. The regular MAGA is like, wait a minute. There actually are immigrants coming to take our jobs. Yeah, I'm sure you with your high school graduation diploma is going to take over a mainframe systems operator job, Buford. But they are actually coming in to I don't want to say take jobs, but to wedge out and make it harder for Americans to get those jobs. Okay, that's just what's going to happen. And then number two, they ain't white. That's 90% of it right there. Okay, they ain't white. Look up, if you don't know what the term is, and I'm sure a lot of people do, especially those watching the show, look up the Great Replacement Theory. Something that Tucker Carlson pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. I can't remember what group it was. I want to say it was, no, it wasn't Vote.org. Like Media Watchdogs or something like that. That type of group, anyway. Okay. Went through his shows and found that over 400 of his shows, he had pushed the Great Replacement Theory, if not in name, in concept. Okay, all those people are coming over. They're going to have all these babies. White people aren't going to be the majority anymore. So he pushed this for, like I said, not every single show, but over 400 shows. But then when it came time to go to court over it, suddenly, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do it. What is Great Replacement Theory anyway? Can somebody tell that what that is? I don't know what that is. Okay. And the last part of this, all right, last two parts I should say, this is just a phenomenon that I've noticed over the years. Okay, I've been paying attention to politics for about a half a century. Not a political guru, but any stretch of the imagination. Just from a layperson's point of view. Okay. And one thing I've noticed, not just with politics, but with other ideological groups as well, religions, etc. But politics is a prime example. 3. The concept of 3, which reminds me of the old Sesame Street song, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. Whatever, but sorry. But anyway, so the concept of 3, okay, 3 words and or 3 syllables or 3 letters, okay, that is something simple. It gets into your psyche. You understand what it is, sort of, okay. It's a shortcut, and you're fine with it. Now, sometimes it works with individuals, okay. You have a parent. Parents had a bad day. Doesn't matter what it is. Parents that maybe had a bad day at work, they work from home, or they're a homemaker, they had a bad day, and one of the kids starts getting on their nerves. Okay. One of my friends, this was her favorite three-word phrase for this. Okay. She'd just take it and take it and take it and take it. Like one day, first time she ever did it, she was on the phone talking to somebody. I'm talking with her as well, and she'd occasionally talk to me, and I'd wait, until she talked to me so I didn't interrupt the phone call. And her daughter, who was 2-ish at the time, Mom, Just a minute, honey. Mom, 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 mom. Just a minute, honey. Like that clip on from Family Guy, which I don't watch. And then finally she turns around and goes, you know what? And the kid's like, oh shit, I done fucked up now. Okay. Fuck around and find out is a little longer, but okay, so 3 syllables. Let's go to 3 syllables, okay. CRT, DEI, BLM, Antifa. CRT is critical race theory. By the way, it's not taught in schools, in K through 12 schools, anywhere in the United States. If you think it's taught in schools anywhere in the United States below collegiate level, okay, I want you to put it in the comment section. The exact name of the school, who's teaching it, maybe not necessarily who is like the individual teacher, but, you know, Johnson Elementary or whatever, okay, is teaching it. Because I guarantee you're not going to find it. And in the collegiate level, it's there as an elective. You do not have to take it to graduate. Do not have to take it to get a degree. So this whole BS about C3PO, CRT is just another racist dog whistle. Okay, DEI, a perfect example of another racist dog whistle. Kamala Harris, that was used against her multiple times during the election campaign. And then, I don't remember the congresswoman's name, but she said, now whether you agree with her policies or not, because some of her policies I don't. I've said that before. I'm a socialist. But she said, well, Kamala Harris isn't. She used the wrong pronunciation. Kamala Harris isn't qualified. The fuck are you talking about? Leaving aside the orange shit given for a second, okay. She was a prosecutor, cop, okay. She was a cop. She's been elected official more than once. She was in Congress. She was a vice president. How the fuck is she not qualified? Meanwhile, you think you're orange shit given a guy who had 34 felony convictions, who hid secret documents and bragged about it on audio tape, who was convicted of sexually assaulting a woman, who, and I know that a lot of other people who are not brought up in the culture. I was a fundamentalist, Christian, white nationalist, Christian fundamentalist, racist, misogynistic, queerphobic, the whole 9 fucking yards. Most of the people that watch the show or are on my blue sky would have hated my fucking guts when I was in my 20s and early 30s. And I don't blame them. Where the fuck was I? God, I hate my ADHD. Again, who am I going to blame this time? I'm going to blame Joey this time. Hashtag not all blank. Some people are good despite their religion, just like there's some decent secular humanists. Way too many cultural Christians among the secular. Yeah. So, where was I? Okay. So, so talking about Trump and his qualifications. Okay. Apparently he can play the accordion, the air accordion. A reality TV star. Never spent a day in public public office. And identified, because you know y'all love to throw that word around in a negative way, identified as a Democrat for years. Hung around with the Clintons. You know, those evil Clintons, you know, were, you know, her emails, and, you know, the whole, is it Vince or Vincent? One of the two. Foster and da-da-da-da-da. Okay. Benghazi. Benghazi. 3. Okay. So, what happens is they get into people's heads. Not everybody, you know, hashtag not all people. They get into people's heads, and they make them distrust other people for various reasons. It's fear. It's fear-mongering. That's all it is. Okay. They're coming over the border. Really. Except that's not the case. Crime is up. Crime is up. Really. Except that's not the case. They're taking our jobs. Really? So, Buford, you're going to go work in a lettuce field 12 hours a day? You're going to go work in a cabbage farm? You're going to bust your ass in a corn farm? You're going to work as a construction worker? And don't get me wrong, a lot of people do work as construction, white people do work as construction workers. But take 5 random, completely random, white construction workers and 5 completely random Latinx construction workers, and I bet you I can tell you who has more experience. Same age, same everything, except for that. Which I can tell you. But you know, your average white person, myself included, I can't do it physically. I did have a lot of really hard physical jobs when I was in my 20s, but your average white person is just not going to be able to do it. So when you talk about, you know, they're taking our jobs, get your ass out there and put an application in. Go to Walmart. Scott Seiss, one of my favorite comedians, he does a lot of retail comedy. You know, basically his shtick is things you want to say to the customers because you can't because you'll get fired. Okay, so like he said, like a customer told him, you know, once, how come there's so many lines? Why don't you open up some registers? And I'm paraphrasing because I'm in his exact words, and he's like, because there are so many people, you know, and we're short-staffed. What is that you're saying? You want to put a job application in? You got a resume? Fill it out. Put your money where your mouth is. And the last part of this, take time. Take time for you. You know, I did this for almost a year. I was completely off of YouTube. Very, very, very little on YouTube at all. I did that show, the previous show, #NotAllHippies, and God knows how many other names, for 3.5 years-ish. Almost 300 shows, like 285, something like that. And it took a hell of a toll. Now, some of them are a little shorter, I admit, okay. But on average, my shows run 3 hours, as you can tell by the way I'm talking tonight. It ain't going to be that long. My shows run 3 hours, okay. For that 3 hours, I have to do 5 hours of work. Getting images, getting links, writing copy, editing, getting everything set up for the show. It just doesn't happen in like half an hour. Especially with me, okay. You know, and I hate to use this phrase, and I've said this to both my doctors, and they laugh because they know where it comes from. Okay, but I've done my research. Okay, not as far as vax goes. Okay, because I don't have a lab and I don't have a centrifuge. And if you don't, shut the fuck up about how you've done your research. Watching a YouTube video is not research in that regard. But I have done my research as far as, like, you know, quoting people. You know, Trump said this about this, or George Stephanopoulos said this about that, or the Supreme Court came down with a decision this. Okay. I've got, I think, somewhere between 15 to 20 links that I'm going to be putting in the pinned post. Okay, as soon as the show is done. But that took time. Okay. I'm not going to do a show again until Wednesday. I may do a live show on Wednesday. If I do, I will let people know by Tuesday afternoon. Give you a little lead time, you know. It'll be same time, 6 o'clock. I will be doing a show next Sunday. I'm going to try to do a show every Sunday. But take time for yourself. If you're tired, rest. You know, it's not all on your shoulders. Okay. Take care of your physical health as much as you can. Some people have problems with that. I do. Okay. Take care of your, you know, no matter how much money, some of my shit ain't gonna be fixed. Take care of your mental health. Okay. If you need to take a break, take a fucking break. Okay. It's not all on you. All right. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I don't mean that you're arrogant or whatever. Just don't guilt yourself going, well, you know, I don't really want to say, you know, this today, or I don't really want to, you know, send that email today or whatever. Wait a couple of days. Doesn't make any fucking difference, okay? In that short time frame, okay? Take care of yourself. If you're scared, back off a little bit. If you're scared to talk to your family, don't. Until such time as you want to, and you think that you're safe to do so. If you're not safe to do so, if you're not ever safe to do. Some of my family members I haven't talked to in 20 years, and I'll never talk to. Because it's safer for my mental health. In a couple instances, it would probably be safer for me physically, okay? But, because I do tend to get mouthy, if you've seen. But take care of yourself, okay? There's also an organization, it's called Finding Steady Ground, that is in the description, and will be in the pin post, okay? Where you can go to. It's not a therapy place per se, okay? But that's sort of along the lines of what it is. They can try to provide you with links, with references, with sources, to give you, to go where you can go to take a break, where you can say, you know what, I've been doom scrolling for 2 weeks or whatever. Okay, I've been doom scrolling for 2 weeks. I'm tired of all this shit. I'm tired of hearing all this fucking bullshit about Trump. I'm tired of hearing all this fascist shit. I'm tired of freaking out over the fascist hellscape that's coming. I need a break. Take a fucking break. Because the shit's going to be here when you get back. Okay? Just like I used to tell my family, some of them still do it, they self-medicate with alcohol or other drugs because of their issues. Fine, while you're drunk, you ain't going to remember it. Okay? Or normally. But you know what? Once you sober up, that shit's still there. So in a good way, instead of a negative way, take a break. Take a break for an hour. Take a break for a day. Take a break for 2 fucking weeks. I don't care. Whatever is best for you. And then if you can, if you want to, come back to the fight. Because it isn't just one person. It takes more than that. Okay? Find people you trust. Find your path. Do not obey in advance, which is something that ABC and I wish others had done. Okay? Handle fear. And do what you need to make sure that you are safe mentally, that you are safe physically. B says, you just lost a customer. You think I like being here? Yeah, exactly. I love his comedy, I want to speak to the manager, and this is one of my favorites. I want to speak to the manager. Really? I want to speak to your mother. Ask her why, how she raised such a baby to be acting like a baby out in public. You want to speak to the manager? The manager doesn't know anything. Haven't you ever worked before? Yeah, I love that one. This last one is a positive story. Okay, I tend to focus on the negative as a matter of, trying to not prepare is not the word I want, but trying to give people ammunition so that they don't have a complete freak out and go, oh my God, nothing's ever gonna be good, and I'm not a Pollyanna. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that shit ain't gonna happen. Just flat out. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna blow smoke up your ass. But I am gonna tell you that there are, like I said, the list, and the list will be in the pinned letter post. There are some things you can do. Okay. But again, also take a break. Now, we're going to go to a company. How many times, I know I've said it at least a couple times here. I say it probably at least once a day, if not 10 times a day, on my Facebook, on my Blue Sky, that I'm a socialist. Okay? A lot of people think that socialism means there are no companies. That's not what it means. Now, do I like capitalist companies? Fuck no. Okay? But there's a gradation, okay? Some capitalist companies are slightly better than others. Some capitalist companies are quite a bit better than others. Costco is one. I will give them, they have some shady practices, don't get me wrong. Unlike Walmart and others who used to have good DEI and then dropped some of it, just suck the dicks of MAGA. But anyway, Costco has some good shit going for it, okay? So, here's what happened. Costco has a board of trustees. Okay, they meet, I don't know if it's once every month or once every 6 months or whatever it is. A couple times a year anyway, okay, at least. They meet. This is our policy for the year. This is our set of policies for the year. They give the shareholders kind of like an update. I was going to say upgrade. an update on where the stock money is going, where the stock has been, why it was good or bad, where they think it's going to go, new things that they're doing for the company, things that they've deprecated, removed from the company policy, etc. Okay, cool. There is a group called the National Center for Public Policy Research, as they would say in Animal House. So first of all, to the National Center for Public Policy Research, I say, fuck you. It's a right-wing think tank. That's all it is. Okay. And they urged the shareholders, some of the shareholders, I should say, to push Costco to drop their DEI. Walmart dropped some of it. Other companies have dropped some of it. And I'm going to get into the weeds of it, but Costco said, fuck you. We ain't dropping DEI. Okay? So the group, the right-wing group, said, this is a quote, okay, hold on a second here. I got like 27 screens. Okay. Pre-transition animations. Yeah, I love those. I'm trying to find a winter one. Because you know me and winter. Okay. Not that we're having a winter here. Oh, I take that back. We did have snow for the last 10 days prior to yesterday. So, we didn't have it for Christmas, but whatever. We had snow. Okay. So, again, the National Center for Public Policy Research called on Costco to eliminate DEI programs. They claim they're discriminatory. Like the whole idea that giving black students at a black college preference over white students is racist. Okay, so first of all, let me get very briefly into the weeds here. Okay, if you're black in this country, if you're Latino in this country, if you're Latinx, if you're Asian in this country, if you're Muslim, well, if that's what it's based on, okay, you can't be racist. Let me say that again. If you're black or another ethnic minority, you can't be racist. And to the white people out there who may be watching, they can't be racist. Can they be prejudiced? Absolutely. Can they be bigoted? Absolutely. But to be racist, you not only have to have that prejudice and that bigotry, but you also have to have the systemic power of politics, physical authorities like cops, redlining like from banks and stuff, all that stuff to back that up. That doesn't happen. More than one study, more than one, not just study, but more than one example or test, I guess maybe is a better word, has been put forth where they will take a candidate, they list their qualifications for a job, okay. Then they have a stereotypical black name, and they send that out. And they get responses, okay, or not. Then they take the exact same thing, maybe change the date slightly, whatever, okay. Maybe change the location, like, instead of Birmingham, it might be New York or whatever, okay. Say they moved, quote unquote, moved to the area, and then put forth that application with a quote unquote white name. Overwhelmingly, that white name got a callback. Overwhelmingly. So, Costco's whole, fuck you, we're not changing DEI, I like. For a lot of reasons, okay? Now, DEI, remember, 3, DEI stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. Okay? Diversity, well, I'm sorry, Buford, but it's okay to have people who don't look like me. Okay? I've said this before on Facebook. My ass is white. Okay? Like white. Like shockingly Caucasian. Like, people write on me when they can't find paper. Mayo American. My ass is white. Okay? Not everybody looks like me. They don't have to. There are people in various jobs that I've had over the years, okay, who I worked alongside who were of a different ethnic background than I am and did the job far, far fucking better than I could. I even spoke up one day. I was working at a dairy farm down south, huge dairy farm, over 9,000 head. And the individual I was talking to, I get along with okay. We weren't buddy, but I get along with okay. And he was ranting and raving about the one black person who lived there. And that guy was from Cameroon, I believe. And he was working there, kind of working his way through college and whatever, okay. And he was an AI, so that's what he was going to college for, and he was really good at it, okay. So this guy was ranting and raving, you know. And so the break room was during lunchtime in the break room. He's sitting facing away from me, kind of like diner booths, okay, and there's another guy sitting across from him, but facing towards me. And then I'm sitting on this side facing towards them. And he's, you know, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and, you know, certain words, which I'm not going to say. And I said, well, that's really weird. And he turns around and goes, what? And I said, well, I've never cared what color a man's skin is when he comes to work. Well, I do. I said, and how does that make him work harder or less hard? Because I tell you, the guy's name was Jean-Claude. I'm not going to say his last name. I said, Jean-Claude busts his ass. You know, we work 13-hour shifts. Jean-Claude busts his ass and comes in sometimes on his days off because he's trying to put himself through college. What the fuck are you doing? I've had more than one person tell me, oh, well, you know, especially speaking about Latinx, okay, oh, well, they don't belong in this country. They don't know anything about this country. Okay, Sparky. We're going to put you, coffee break, through what I call the angry wrench test. Okay? How many amendments to the Constitution are there? You can put it in the chat if you want. Don't look it up on Google. And I'm not gonna shame you intentionally if you're wrong. Okay? Somewhere between 10, because that's a Bill of Rights, and somewhere between 40. I'll give you that much of a range. Okay, give you that much of a hint. How many amendments are to the Constitution? Sparky, there you go. Then it's going to be Sparkles. And then a friend of mine a long time ago in a forum I used to belong to, religion discussion forum, said that when he saw me type, because it was all text written, when he saw me type, gosh golly gee willikers, he knew a whole world of fucking shit was coming. And no I don't have to use profanity, vulgarity, or obscenity to get my point across. And believe me, I can do it. So anyway, how many amendments to the Constitution are there? Tell me what are some of the main parts of the Fourth Amendment. What about the First Amendment? It isn't just about free speech. And it sure as hell isn't about free speech from a company, because Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or whoever, you know, your local schmo hardware store, okay, by law, doesn't have to be free speech. Doesn't have to allow you free speech. Okay? The way it is. The only quote unquote free speech is the government can't tell you that you can or cannot say X, Y, and Z. Okay. B says, aren't there 26? I know there's at least 25 other discussion about the 25th in recent years. Yeah. I believe yes, there's 27. I could be wrong myself. Either 27 or 28. Okay. But so the First Amendment, like I said, is about, you know, free speech. It's also about religion. The freedom of religion, and despite what fundamentalists want to claim otherwise, the freedom from religion. Because freedom of religion also means freedom from religion. You do not have to be Christian or any other religion in this country to be in this country, to be I hate to use this word sometimes, to be a patriotic member of this country, to be a citizen who supports and works towards the betterment of this country. You don't have to be religious. You don't have to be a specific religion. You don't have to be Christian. You don't have to be Jewish. You don't have to be Muslim. I'm a Celtic pagan. And I do what I can for the betterment of this country. You don't have to be any particular faith. You don't have to be a particular stripe. Granted, there are fewer nowadays, okay, but there are some Republicans that I knew in my 20s and 30s, okay, maybe late 30s to 50, because in my 20s and 30s I was still very much right wing. But 40 to 50, 35 to 50, there are some Republicans that I knew that I would have voted for, especially for who they were running against. But some of those, ran to jail later, but the Democrats. But I would have voted for them. I'm glad that I didn't, but at the time, when John McCain was running against, would have been, if he had gotten the nomination, running against John Kerry, I would have voted for McCain. I didn't like John Kerry. Sure as hell didn't like Bush. Okay, and what sunk McCain was another racist Republican tactic. They were doing robocalls, claiming that John McCain had an illegitimate black child. Because, that's the GOP. But yeah, I believe there's 27. Okay. So, how many senators are there? How many in the House of Representatives? And you don't have to answer each one of these individually. I'm just going to go through a bunch of them because we're getting closer to the end now. How many are in the House of Representatives? Who are your representatives? Both of mine are, no, excuse me. One of mine, unfortunately, I live in that district, is Republican. The other one is Democrat, Debbie Stabenow. Okay, wish I lived in her district. We have a Democrat-controlled House, and we still will after the first of the year. We have a Republican barely controlled Senate. I believe it's 58 to 52. And then we have a Democratic governor. B says, damn, I thought what sunk McCain was Palin. No, this was the first time. 435 reps, 100 senators. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that whole 100 senators is bullshit too. Okay. You're going to tell me that California, which has a population in the millions, okay, millions and millions and millions, I think around 40 million, I'm not sure. It's got like one of the fifth biggest economy in the world, just California, okay? You're going to tell me that they should have the same amount of representatives as Montana. Granted, they have House members, okay. B says, last I remember from civics class, yeah. Okay, so what is the process to remove a president under the 25th Amendment? Just all these are asked on tests to get your citizenship. Now, granted, a lot of people, have, if I had to take a math test to keep my citizenship, I'd probably fail. I don't do the math well. I used to. I could, and I still can to some extent, and I don't know why. This is when my brain works. Okay, for algebra, I can do 6-box matrices in my head just by looking at it and go, yep, that's what it is. When I was in college math 2, which is upper algebra, just before, what is it, trig or calculus, whatever the next one is. One of my instructors, the particular class I was in, asked me to do the problem the way they did it, because I wasn't doing any on the one of the quizzes that we took. I wasn't doing any work, showing my work, okay. And I told her, I said, I can't. He's like, what? I said, I can't. I said, I can try to do it, your way. Give me a problem. So she did, and like 10 minutes later, I was like, I'm confused. I can't do this. She said, how do you do it? And I looked at the matrices, which are 4 of them, okay. 3 and 3, 3 and 3. Okay, I looked at the matrices, and 30 seconds later, I wrote down the answer, and I was correct. It's the way my brain works. Okay. So, getting back to Costco, I tend to wander. ADHD, I tend to wander. I'm going to give you a couple quotes. Okay, so, like I said, the right-wing group said, it's clear that DI holds litigation, reputational, and financial risks to the company, and therefore financial risk to the shareholders. So your reputation is going to be bad. And if that's the reason for Walmart, your reputation sucks already to begin with. Okay, it's not going to be made worse because of DEI. Rednecks aren't going to, believe me, rednecks are not going to stop shopping at Walmart because of DEI. They might rant and rave about it and grumble about it, but they're still going to fucking come in and shop. Okay, I'm a redneck and I'm going to come in and shop. In response, the Board of Trustees said, okay, voted unanimously to tell shareholders to decline the proposal. Shareholders will, however, get the final vote on January 23rd. So we'll see where that goes. Okay. The board wrote this. This is a little bit long quote, but I'm gonna read it. Okay, and it'll be in the description maybe. Our success at Costco has been built on service to our critical stakeholders, employees, members, and suppliers. Our efforts around diversity, equity, and inclusion follow our code of ethics. For our employees, they are built around inclusion. We want to have all of our employees feel valued and respected. Our efforts at this remind and reinforce with everyone that at our company, the importance of creating opportunities for all. I'm a capitalist, so I'm not completely fine with everything that they do. Okay, we believe that these efforts enhance our capacity to attract and retain employees, which they do. Okay, you would not believe the amount of people that I worked with at Walmart for the last decade or so. I was there, I think, 11 and a half, 12 years, who said, man, I wish we had a Costco here. I'd go there in a heartbeat. Costco's like, I think it starts at like $20 an hour, whatever it is, something like that. This capacity is critical because we owe our success to our now over 300,000 employees around the globe. Okay. Again, the right-wing group said the Supreme Court decision in 2023 indicated that the company's DEI programs could potentially be illegal. Fuck off. Costco said the group was incorrect. They repeated it. Let's see. Earlier this year, Lowe's, Harley-Davidson, and Walmart announced the repeal of DEI practices. It used to be when because I worked at the local Walmart, I retired 2 years ago. In fact, oh my God, 2 years today, exactly, the 29th was my last day at work at Walmart. And they used to have in the personnel office, okay, where you went and did your CBLs, which is your computer courses, okay, they used to have little signs around the office. I don't know if they do now, I doubt it, but they used to have little signs around the office talking about pronouns, respecting people, etc. Now they may still have that, I don't know. Not all stores are created equal, and not all stores are exactly the same. Again, the bigot group, I'm going to call them that, fuck them, stated Costco's rebrand of DEI to be titled People and Communities does not protect the company from the alleged risks. It is a form of racial discrimination. The fuck are you talking about? So first of all, leaving aside the whole race part to begin with, okay. My ass is white, as we talked about before. Okay, white, Benny Cracker, Flower Child, Flour. Okay, Wonder Bread. My ass is white. Okay. What does it have to do with my race? If I were working there, okay. Now I'm queer, I'm trans. But what does it have to do with my race? Not a fucking thing. Okay. And then they said with 310,000 employees, Costco likely has at least 200,000 employees, likely, they don't know, who are potential victims of this type of illegal discrimination because they are white, Asian, male, or straight. Okay. Again, being straight has nothing to do with race. Because believe me, I know a lot of white gay people, okay, and a lot of white trans people. I know some Asian trans people. I know some Asian queer people, okay. The group stated that the demographics could sue and cost Costco billions of dollars. They are 100% full of fucking shit. Flat out, hands down. In its response to that proposal, Costco called out the group for inflicting burdens on companies through policy bias and said their proposal did not aim to address financial risk, but just to strike down DEI. A Costco shareholder proposal brought by a conservative activist asked the company to probe its diverse DEI with an eye toward eliminating them. The company's board was not amused with the pitch. Repeat. And then a couple other companies, John Deere, Tractor Supply, dumped DEI. John Deere said it will no longer sponsor social or cultural awareness events, and Tractor Supply said it was eliminating all DEI roles and retiring its commitments. Okay, so first of all, I'm surprised Tractor Supply had DEI to begin with. I'm just saying. Not saying that ethnic minorities can't be farmers. But look at the demographics for farmers in this country. Or look at the demographics, period. But look at the demographics for farmers in this country. And see what the percentage of them being white is. And who goes to Tractor Supply? Now, granted, some people, who aren't farmers do. Okay, a small percentage do. But most of them are farmers or, outdoor workers, whatever. Okay. Walmart dropped several of its policies in November, including one that gave priority treatment to suppliers owned by women or people of color. So if you're a woman, Walmart said, fuck you. If you're an ethnic minority, Walmart said, fuck you. Okay? Not because your business is crappy, not because you overcharged them, not because you've had sexual assault allegations or convictions like the GOP, who I call the Guardian of Pedophiles Party, just because of the color of your skin. It also, the bigot company also repeated a fake claim about Microsoft. They laid off 2 employees, okay, that worked with the DEI team. I'm going to use DEI because it's just shorter, okay. But it was first reported that Microsoft had fired an entire DEI team. Microsoft said, no, the fuck we didn't. Paraphrasing, obviously. Okay. Costco said its DEI efforts helped the company attract and retain a wide range of employees and improve merchandise and services in stores. It said that its customers also want to interact with a diverse employee base. B says, I gather, Walmart cut their DEI to pander to their primary customer base, the same MAGA white folks who contributed to their record profits during the MAGA-labeled plandemic through panic buying. Yeah. And as far as that goes too, like I said, MAGA's not going to stop going to Walmart. Not a fucking chance. Okay. If you have a customer base, now I can understand as a company, this is another reason I don't like capitalism, but I can understand as a company, okay, sort of catering to your larger customer base. For example, if you're a dildo company and you sell all sorts of dildos all over the world, and you do some demographic studies, okay, and you find out that 75% of your customer base likes larger dildos, you're going to start selling larger dildos, and maybe dildos, and maybe cut back on the amount of dildos that are smaller, or whatever, that don't quite fit that demographics need. Okay, I understand that completely. Okay, but to shit on marginalized communities by saying, you know what, we're fuck you, you're not equal. If you're a woman, a femme, you're not equal. Fuck you. If you're a black man, you're not equal. Fuck you. If you're an Asian woman, you're not equal. Fuck you. If you are a disabled person, you're not equal. Fuck you. And I tell you what, a lot of people talk about the ADA. First of all, they're underfunded and overstaffed. Understaffed, and overworked. Okay, for what they should be doing. Okay, but believe me, there are horror stories involved in the ADA. Okay, but we had a person quite a few years ago. I wasn't working there at the time. Who worked in the local Walmart, who was in a wheelchair for whatever reason. I didn't know, and I didn't care to ask. If he wanted to tell me, he would have told me. Okay. I see him around town. He's not working there anymore. Now, he could be fired because he was an asshole. He could be fired because he was mean to a customer. He could be fired because he was stealing. I don't know, and I don't care. My point, however, is that I know for a fact that Walmart, at least at this store, and other stores too, I'm presuming, could be wrong, but I'm presuming, okay, just taking a guess. What companies? Aldi's allows their cashiers to sit at a stool while they're doing a cashier. You know, it's got to be a little lower so they can reach the product and whatever. Okay, Walmart won't do that. Why the fuck would you not do that? Maybe they don't want to sit down the entire shift. Okay, I understand that. Also, they would be getting up and going back and forth. B says, "Don't say dildo too loud." Marjorie is lurking. There's a lot of terms I could use for her. Most of them are body shaming, so I won't. But fucking asshole is a good one. But Walmart won't let. There's one person, the entire 11 and a half years that I worked there, there's one person that I know for a fact used a stool. Because for a while they had her doing the door duty. Okay, where you might have to get up and check receipts once in a while, although she didn't. I'll get to why in a second. Because I always had another person working with her. Greeting, it used to be called Walmart greeters. Okay, saying hi to people who come in, whatever. I unfortunately had to do it for like 2 months when I first went back to Walmart after I retired the first time. I went back because A, I liked the money, and then also B, I was bored out of my fucking mind because I didn't prepare for retirement. But I hated doing door duty. Absolutely hated it. And my body physically hated it. Standing there for 8 fucking hours? What are you out of your mind? And they had these little rubber mats, that are supposed to help. Whatever. My arthritis didn't help that either. So, see, it's your fault again, Beast. Cabbage face. Okay, I can't say you're wrong. I can't say you're right. Okay, but we do try not to body shame people on here. Okay, but I worked there for 11 and a half years, and I won't say her last name, but her first name is Linda. Okay, Linda and I get along really well. She's a crotchety old woman, and I love her. So, she's like in her late 70s, okay, and still working there. Okay, she has osteoarthritis, so she has that little bent in her spine, okay, and has problems walking sometimes. So she uses a shopping cart to walk around with to help. Okay, she's still working there, all right. Still, trying to pull her weight to do what she can, okay. She and I talked once, and I'm not going to get into great detail, but she doesn't need the money as much as some people she's helping need it. So that's why she's there. In her fucking 70s, and she's doing it because these people need help, and they're sure to fuck not getting it from the government, even though they should be. So they allow her to have a stool because there's no way she could stand there for an hour, let alone 8 hours. Okay, she's the only one. I remember a coworker telling me, she was working up at the customer service desk at the time, that she had surgery and was on a weight restriction for 2 weeks or whatever, and she had asked the personnel person at the time if she could get a stool because it had something to do not with her spine but somewhere near there. Okay, so maybe the muscles or whatever, so that it was going to take time for that to heal for her to be able to stand continually, and they told her no. And so she said, well, if I have to, I'll go get a doctor's note. And she got told from a different individual, okay, a friend of hers, she got told that when the store manager heard that, he said, well, yeah, good luck with that one. The fuck is it that Walmart has against people sitting down and, I almost want to say, not sitting down for the whole shift, but if they can do the job sitting down, why not? Okay? they can do the fucking job. Now, if you're a cashier, which I would never be, but if you're because I was one for a year, very busy place in DC. If you're a cashier, you got to get up anyway. Sometimes you're scanning dog food, bags of dog food, or you're scanning pop underneath the cart, or whatever. Maybe helping a customer put stuff in a bag. We got a lot of little old ladies who I adore. Okay, and most of them know me by my first name. I don't know them from Adam. B says apparently sitting down means lazy when it comes to work. Yeah, okay. I do have to give the following store manager credit though. Aside from the fact that he's a boss and he's an asshole, because he almost never sat down, and every day he was out on the floor, doing whatever. Okay, but a lot of times, when I work produce, which is the meat, vegetable area, whatever. Okay, couple of days, I remember 2 days in a row we got slammed with. Fortunately we had high enough trucks coming in the amount of meat. Okay. But we got slammed with customers. We had 4 people working that meat wall and barely able to keep up, and he was one of those 4. So I do give him kudos for that. Okay. I don't give the company that, but I give him that. I have individual people it was on my Facebook. Okay, they're in my Messenger. By the way, if you are or were on my Facebook, I have deactivated. I have 3 accounts. I deactivated all of them. I have Maeve O'Connor. I have the Celtic Kitchen, and then I have hashtag Not All Hippies. Okay, and excuse me, 4. And then I have the Angry Wrench. Okay. I am still on Messenger though, under Maeve O'Connor, and it's okay. So the spelling is a little different. I'm going to put it in the chat. Okay, so give me a second here. B says, and I'm sure the retort they have is if we let that one person sit down, we'll have to let everybody sit down. Fuck it, why not? Yeah. Okay, so that's how you spell Maeve O'Connor. Okay. It is, Maeve is my middle name. Okay, it's not my first name. But I go by Maeve O'Connor. My doctors, whatever, most people, except for family that have known me for a long time, I go as Maeve. Okay. So yeah, well, instead of a B, with a V, like as in Victor. So like, hold on a second. There. Anyway, so where the hell was I? Talking about Walmart. Talking about the money, whatever. Oh, the whole chair and stool thing. Okay, so Walmart does comply with the absolute minimum that they have to for the ADA. Okay, absolute minimum. Joey says I have to be able to sit down to work at McDonald's is one of the only places I could find work in town that would hire me. Yeah, not every disabled person can work. Okay, let me say that right off the bat. Okay, but there are some who can. Okay, some who want to work, but a lot of them don't because they run into that fucking bullshit. B says I was wondering for a couple months because for some reason I had a feeling me didn't. Yeah, I've had that too. But they know me enough because I get regular enough labs and I go to my doctor's office and whatever. I do televisits now that they know how to pronounce it. Whatever. My doctor is awesome. The one I had before for 7 years, I loved her to death. Didn't want to leave her because I'm autistic and don't do change well. But he's a really good doctor, I think, and we really mesh well together as far as doctor-patient goes. Okay. Make sure you get that gangster lean when you're sitting too. Yeah. Okay. Or Joey, if you got a second, where you're not talking on the mic, just kind of mic like that, like you driving or something. So, the most important things I want you to take out of this show, okay? Because we're getting ready to. Wow, it's 2 hours. Okay. I knew it was going to be over an hour. I didn't realize that it was that long. Okay, so because it's Beast's fault, because I keep getting distracted. So the things I want you to take away from this show are: one, don't obey early, like ABC did, like the Disney parent corporation did. Okay, but again, all the major corporations in this country, the major CEOs, are right wingers. So but if you can, try not to obey, and or try not to obey early, if you can. If you don't have a choice, you don't have a choice. Okay, I'm not going to fault somebody who says, for example, there's things I have to get on Amazon. I cannot get here. I don't have a car. I sure the fuck ain't walking to the next town, which is 20 miles away. I have to go to Amazon. I limit that as much as I can. Beast says it's Beast's fault. Yeah, yeah. I do love Beast, by the way. He's an awesome guy, and I love Joey. But there's some things I have to get on Amazon. Okay, partly because it's the only place I can get them, or partly because I can't afford any other fucking place to get them. And I'm sure there's tons of people that are in that same boat. So obey when you have to. Okay, if you have the spoons, to not. Hold on a second. La-da-dee, la-da-dee. So the second one is contact. Contact people. Contact your representative. Send them an email. Contact even if it's okay, they get 100 emails a day, whatever. Okay, you still sent one. Send them an email. Send the ACLU an email, or whatever organization you want to support an email. Go on your Twitter or your Facebook or your Blue Sky or your Instagram or your whatever, and make comments supporting the policies that you want to support. Okay. Yeah, it's not gonna my little mouthy shit on this channel is not gonna change everything. I guarantee you. Okay. That's another huge point. Let MAGA tell it, which is why we don't. All CEOs are radically left and woke. Yeah, okay, what the fuck ever. So let let people know that you support them. Okay. Let people know that you care. And it doesn't have to be in your demographic, so to speak. Okay. Like I said, I put on my Blue Sky. I support BLM. I don't give a fuck who knows it. If you don't like it, fuck you. I support feminism. And if men knew what feminism was, a lot more would support it too. I support the disability. Sometimes I stutter. I support the disabled community. Okay. I have some physical problems. I also have, it's called invisible disabilities. I'm bipolar. I'm ADHD. I have other things going on. I have more letters in my traits than I do in my name, in my full name. But there's I support sex workers. Okay. On Blue Sky, there's porn bots. Don't get me wrong. Okay. And one way to find them, by the way, on Blue Sky, I got 6 follows from a person with the same account name. Well, the first 5 were the same account name, and the last one was the same account name, except they added an L. Block. Okay. But if you're a sex worker and it looks like you have a channel, and you're doing that and not just a porn bot, I'll support you. Other ethnic groups, other marginalized peoples, I'll support you. Hit me up on Blue Sky, if you're on Blue Sky. Okay. Hit me up on Blue Sky. Let me know. Hit me up in this. Yeah. Okay. So hit me up on here, in the comment section. People are in the chat, but in the comment section, let me know that, you care about this organization, or you care about that organization, or this organization sucks because they did this, but this organization is good because they did that. Let me know. I mean, I have no problem supporting good people, supporting good organizations. So, we're going to get to the very last part of the show, and I'm going to try not to spend an hour doing this, Give me a second here. Let me scroll all the way down. Holy shit. Well, like, I did not talk about everything that I have in my showrunner, okay? Because my showrunner is 26 pages. I should do a marathon session sometime, or just I just on a Saturday afternoon, X amount of time, I have because I have Death Wish coffee, and I have another strong coffee too. I take my meds, and then I just sit here and I talk about whatever until I'm tired and I can't talk no more. That might be kind of fun. And now I have to figure out if there's a way I can support a charity. That's what I could do. I could, put up a charity's link or whatever and support it, and ask you, like, every hour that I'm on, give $1 or $2. Okay. Now, obviously, if I'm on 24 hours, that might be rough for some people. Okay, give what you can. So I think I'm actually going to do that. I think that's a good idea. Thanks for the idea, Beast. So I'm going to wind this down. In the description will be all the links, as I said, for the show. Call it the Angry Phil. Ooh, I like that. You know what? I'm going to write that motherfucker down. Give me a second here. Okay, hold on. Or to change the name of the movie, Mrs. O'Connor Goes to Washington. Good movie, by the way. I might do that. In fact, that's a good title too. I'll have to figure that out. Maybe that could be a subtitle. Okay, Mrs. O'Connor Goes to Washington, the Angry Filibuster. Could put it all in there. All right, so you seen the show, you watched the show. If you want, you can comment in the comment section below. You liked the show, you hated the show sucked. Show could have been better because of this, show could have been better because of that. Goes to Washington was my backup idea. Well, see, great minds think alike. But just keep in mind two things. Number one, despite my mouth, okay, despite my swearing, my profanity, my vulgarity sometimes, despite, I don't think I've ever done any obscenity on this particular episode, I do try to be kind. I do try to get along with people. I would rather have a harmonious, relationship with someone if possible. Okay? If possible. There are, however, some lines that I've drawn. Okay? Bigotry, misogyny, queerphobia, transphobia, ableism, etc. Okay? Those are hard lines for me. I had a friend of mine tell me years ago, we were talking about an issue that they had with their parents, and they asked for my advice, and I usually don't give advice unasked for. But when people ask me for my advice, I'm going to tell you what I think, not what I think you want to hear. So they asked me for advice, and I told them. And they're like, damn! Because this was their mother, okay, that they had the issue with. They're like, damn! And I said, it's just, there's no way I would tolerate that from my family. Well, your boundaries are really rigid. And I said, no, my boundaries are boundaries. You're not stepping over them. Because, it's usually not physical, but, you'll suffer the consequences, end a relationship or whatever. I don't give a shit. Any one of those things I mentioned, I don't care if I've known you for 25 years. I had a friend who I knew, it was 23, 24 years, was friends online, was good friends with online, had many conversations with. Turned out she was a neo-Nazi and a racist. Instantly blocked. And we used to, there's a game that I played online, we used to play together every day for like 6 months prior to that, every day. We talked about that, we would talk, on audio stuff, whatever, never happened to come up. And then I made a Facebook post about racism and white supremacy. And she came on and said, well, there's no such thing as white supremacy, and there's no such thing as racism in America. I didn't even fucking respond. I just blocked her. And she sent me an email. And it sits there, unread. And that was a year, 2 years ago. I left it unread, is how people say it, I guess. But I didn't even read it. I didn't even open it. So I do try to be kind. But I'm not going to be nice. That's my tagline on my what do you call it, Facebook. On my Blue Sky, the angry wrench is kind, the angry wrench is not nice. I will bake a pie. I will help my neighbor move. Tonight, I went downstairs and then across the street because they came and got me, because I guess, because I used to be a nurse's aide. They must think I'm a nurse or something. I don't know. Anyway, they came and got me because their elderly relative had fallen and they couldn't get him up. I don't know this woman from Adam. And went over and helped him. Because it's a human thing to do. Remember, some people, if they see something bad happen, try to do it so that that doesn't happen again. Other people, if they see something bad happen, are just glad it didn't happen to them. So, follow me on Blue Sky, theangrywrench.bsky.social, okay? You can do the whole YouTube thing here, subscribe. Hit the subscribe and notification bell so you know when I'm doing live, okay? Give it a thumbs up, give it a like, and then also, leave a comment in the comment section. A lot of people, friends of mine, okay, and others, who I get along with, I just, don't know them that well, say, well, I can't make that show or whatever, watch it at your leisure. I don't care, It also helps me boost in the algorithm, although I don't really care a whole lot about that, but it does help boost me in the algorithm. But it also gives me feedback on what you want to hear. If there's something along the vein that I can do, that I'm willing to do, and by now what I am and I am not for the most part, okay, and you want attention brought to that issue, let me know. Put it in the comments. Say, hey, I noticed that nobody is talking about the immigrants who were in the area, I think it was Pennsylvania, where they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cat, they're eating the pets, they're eating the dogs. Okay? And so these immigrants are suffering because of that. Can you do a bit about that? Absolutely. Oh yeah, that should be a good show. Idea. But, so, Joy says, later peeps, hydrate and medicate. Yep, absolutely. So, I'm going to wind this down. Thank you for showing up. Hit the Blue Sky and give me a follow. Hit all the YouTube bullshit on here. And where is my OBS? Which stands for OBS. Something broadcasting software. Online broadcasting software, maybe? I don't know what the hell it stands for. I don't know. So, where am I button at? Okay. So thank you. I hope you got something out of the show. I appreciate you watching. Appreciate any comments that come in. And, slancha.